we're going to go straight to London, where we're joined by award-winning British Palestinian playwright and novelist Ahmed Masoud. Ahmed, welcome back to the Electronic Intifada live stream. We hope you and your family are as well as can be amid so much horror and heartache for the people of Gaza.
Thank you, Nora. Thanks for having me. And thanks, Ali. Good to see you both.
Good to see you, Ahmed. Thank you for joining us.
Well, Ahmed, on January 19th, you wrote the following words on Instagram. It was exactly a year ago today that my brother Khalid went missing. 3 days later, we found him on the road in Jabaliya. He was killed by an Israeli drone attack while trying to help save my cousins. Today, I begin to mourn. Today, with the ceasefire, I and the rest of Palestine begin to grieve our loss. That was January 19th. The day of the so-called ceasefire and when it took effect. Since March 18th, of course, Israel has returned to the daily massacres, accelerating the genocide that has already taken the life of your brother Khalid, your grandmother Yusra, and so many friends and loved ones. Talk about your reaction to what's happening now and what you, as a Palestinian from Gaza, want us and our viewers to be doing at this time.
I mean, it's incredibly heartbreaking that I only had a couple of months, less than a couple of months actually, to be able to process everything, especially the loss of my own brother and my friend Khalid. It's been really heartbreaking to suddenly realize the loss and the pain. And it was almost like a massive rock on my chest, suffocating me, not being able to breathe. And for a brief moment, that rock just moved a little bit so I could breathe a little. And then now it's back again with all that pain that brings back and everything. But the weird thing now is that that pain is sort of like been amplified a lot more because the genocide has resumed, season 2, as I call it, of the genocide, unfortunately, because everybody's watching. Some are enjoying that. And the pain has amplified a lot because that fear and that feeling of loss and pain is now just kind of extending to the rest of the members of my family. My family went to the south in December 23 in the brief pause. Then they returned back home to Jabaliya. So all of them are in one house, in one place. Luckily, my brother's house survived, so they're all in that one place. And knowing what Israel is doing at the moment, they're just basically targeting civilians, they're targeting homes, they're targeting tents. So I am really, 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 really stressed at the moment that they're all going to be gone in one go. And that fear and that pain is just kind of getting worse and worse every day because we're seeing images and we're seeing the intentions and the words and it's just like so obvious now. There is no masking of what their intentions are. They're going to take Gaza, they're going to massacre people. That's what they're saying, that's what they're doing in there. I don't know what the viewers should take from this, and I don't know what else they can do, and I don't know what I can do. I am at loss. I'm a complete loss, but I know that we need to continue to speak, and this is why I'm here, that despite everything, I will never stop talking because this is my responsibility and my duty to help my family and my people. A couple of days ago, as you may have seen, and yesterday, people in Gaza went out demonstrating, risking their own lives against everything, and they went out in demonstrations on the street with hundreds of people in there. So if they can do it there when they're hungry and they're cold and tired and exhausted and fearing for their lives, I'm sure people here in the UK, in their comfort and on their weekends, they can do it as well. And I want to. Sorry, can I just also say about one thing? The picture you showed at the beginning. I don't know if you're able to show it there. So with my brother Khalid. So to his right, on his right arm, under his right arm, that's my daughter Serene. And I'm going later, straight after this, to her parents' evening at school here in London. Serene fell in love with my brother Khalid. To her, she was very young. This picture, she was about 5 or 6 years old. And he was her connection to Gaza completely. And it has been very, very difficult for her, incredibly difficult, that even to this day, I find her writing letters for him. Even to this day, I find her, it was only last week or a couple of weeks ago, I found her in her room crying while writing a letter for him. So we started talking about it more. We do that all the time, but now we're writing Eid cards for him because Eid is coming and it's Ramadan and all of these things. And she's got a picture of him on her wall. Actually, it's this very same picture is framed on her wall, and I've tried to remove it, but she wouldn't let me at all. So I think that pain of losing somebody is never going to go. It's just going to stay with us in that house. It's going to stay with us in our memories and what happened in there. So I just wanted to just kind of explain this picture that I posted on Instagram.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ahmed. And it's just really, you know, for those of us who don't have family in Gaza and from Gaza, it's just really unbearable. But I want to ask you how your mother is doing. We know from last time you visited with us that she was able to get out of Gaza to Egypt, and being displaced again, exiled again, isn't easy. But how is she doing?
She is very, very stressed, of course. She's very tired. And now, if she doesn't hear from the rest of my family, my siblings, my brothers and sisters who are in Gaza, she gets very stressed. She's on the phone to me immediately, asking me to call them directly, because she can't call directly. She has to wait for the internet, for Wi-Fi. She can't do a direct call from Egypt to them. Very often they don't have connection. She's in Egypt. It's almost a year now for this 76-year-old woman who's been displaced from her home. Temporary, she thought, or I thought, then when we got her out back in April, because the situation was very, very difficult for her. She was living in a tent for months in Khan Yunis. She almost got killed with explosions near her. So we thought it was temporary. So imagine now it's almost a year. It's Ramadan again. This is her first Ramadan, like fasting on her own. You know, my sister is with her, so my sister got out with her. It's just the two of them there in a flat in Egypt. You know, where of course there's support, you know, community support around them, but her family are not there. She's not able to see her family. This is going to be her second Eid now without them. And the worst part is that she doesn't know what's going to happen. You know, now with the resumption and continuation of the genocide, I think all hope has been lost in a sense. You know, at least with the ceasefire, we thought maybe they're going to move to stage 2, maybe things are going to advance. But I think most of us deep down knew it, that the intention that Israel had was to resume the genocide at the earliest opportunity, and they've done so. They've threatened with it, and the thing, what we learned about the Israelis in this during this genocide is that everything they said publicly on TV, they actually have done it. You know, so I don't think, you know, we should expect more from them because it's there in the public. You know.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ahmed. It's really unbearable, and I hope at least you get to see your mum soon. Let's shift a little bit, not entirely away from the reality of Gaza now, but to this week, your novel Vanished: The Mysterious Disappearance of Mustafa Ouda, which was first published in Europe in 2015, is being reissued in the United States by Just World Books. And let's take a look at this intriguing clip of you reading a little from it.
My father was gone. I was too young to understand why, and nobody was able to explain it to me, not even my mother. When I asked, she would always give me a sad smile. There was danger in that smile which I could not understand, a hidden story that I was desperate to uncover. Perhaps this is what pushed me to proclaim myself the youngest detective in the Jabaliya camp.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's an intriguing little clip, and of course, Jabaliya camp in Gaza is where you grew up. It's where your family uh, has lived and still is. Uh, this is, of course, a novel, but it's rooted in the reality and the experience of Jabaliya camp that you know so well. Give us a sense of the journey you take readers on in Vanished, and what does it mean to be making and sharing art at a time like this?
I think it's really important to share art and to tell stories. I think it's what keeps us humans. It's what is going to stay later on for us as Palestinians. It's really kind of opposing and resisting the Israeli propaganda that we're all, human animals and terrorists and all of these things. As you know, Palestinians have the most PhDs per capita. Everyone knows that. Well, some people know that. We're a very highly educated, civilized people. We like stories. We like theater. We like novels. We like readings. We like everything, And what I wanted to do in this novel is precisely that: is to present Gaza and Palestine like any other country in the world, a normal kind of place where people live and interact, and we have the good and the bad. It's a mystery thriller story. It's full of twists and turns. It's the hero may not be the hero. There's an anti-hero, but might not be an anti-hero. There's a lot to unpack in there. But essentially, at the heart of it is it's a coming-of-age story of a young boy who's going through 3 decades of Gaza's and Palestine's modern history, from the first Intifada to the second Intifada, or before the second Intifada, to the arrival of the Palestinian Authority, following the Oslo Accords, and then moving to the second Intifada, and all the way up to 2014, on the awful war of 2014, when Israel killed about 2,535 people in Gaza in 2014. In a way, the novel starts then, and then it goes back 3 decades ago. The story is about loyalty and friendship, and it's about betrayal. It is a mystery thriller. Omar's father had mysteriously disappeared, and he spends his life looking for him. He spends his life trying to find out what happened to him, and nobody's giving him a straight answer, as you may have heard in there. And then he decides to go on and investigate himself. The novel takes the readers back to Gaza when it was under direct military rule by Israel. So Omar, as an innocent boy of 8 years old, decides actually the best person to get information from is the Israeli military governor in Gaza. He was based in Jabaliya at the time. And he goes there to ask questions, simple questions. Do you know what happened to my father? And that was the biggest mistake of his life, because something happens there that changes his life forever. But I cannot reveal it because you have to read the novel. I can't spoil it for you. But it goes further into, friendship, loyalty, but also about, class and gender equality, and how women are treated in Gaza, perception. A lot is packed in there. The best comment I received was from somebody who wrote to me and said that Vanished takes you to Gaza and leaves you there. And that's what I really like. I really like that. It's kind of, for me, it was also my way to get people to get to Gaza through this book, because not a lot of people can go to Gaza. So you see the streets, the names, the cafes, the beach, the restaurant, all of which are, of course, destroyed now. So in a way, I'm really pleased I wrote this novel, because it's a record of not just the place and the people, but also our pain and our history. And in the awful scenario where Israel takes over Gaza, as if they do, and rename it like they did in Tel Rabia, which became Tel Aviv, and others, at least there is a written record of the place, written in English and published in English, which I think is really important. The novel also deals with the issue of collaboration with Israel, which is a very, very sensitive topic to Palestinians in general, because I can say this actually, Omar later on becomes a kind of collaborator in a sense. and it's also exploring that journey and that pressure and that blackmail, and how Israel tried to kind of exploit that as much as possible. But then he sort of does something to come out of it, which then you have to read the novel. I can't really spoil it for you. The novel has been translated to various languages, including Italian, Galician, Arabic, but not published. It will also be published in India soon. It almost was turned into a Hollywood film, but the plans didn't go ahead because the producer, unfortunately, died suddenly. So it was very, very unlucky, and the whole project sort of failed. But it was that was the plan, and we had proposals to make it into a Hollywood film. Not that this is a great thing anyway, because I don't believe in these things at all. Somebody said to me recently, I want you to write mainstream stuff. And I just looked at him and I said, and this person is a prominent person, and I looked at him and I said, we are the mainstream. I don't care what they say and what they think. So I think, yeah, my writing in general, I've made a decision that I would focus on Gaza. That's what I do. I write about Gaza. I place all of my stories there because there's so much to tell. It's a huge kind of, for writers, it's a massive pot for kind of ideas and creativity, etc. And as you may have followed from, over the last year and a half or so, Israel has been targeting writers constantly, mostly for their writing. I mean, the most famous one that we know is 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐿, my friend. I always remember him in these situations because he was targeted for his writing and how outspoken he was. We know that for sure. But also Israel has a history of doing that, from Ghassan Kanafani in the 70s to most of the poets now that are writing in Gaza. So I made that decision to write about Gaza and set all of my stories there, and I will continue to do that.
We do want to let our listeners and viewers know that Just World Books is hosting a launch event on Zoom for your book Vanished with you. And that's going to be just in a few days on April 1st at noon Eastern time, and everyone is welcome to join. You can get the link to sign up and register for this book launch for free at this QR code. There we go. Or you can also go to bit.ly/vanished. That's bit.ly/vanished launch. Sorry, there we go. Vanished launch. So if you want to pause the video and point your camera at this code, you can get that link, and more information will be available, of course, at justworldbooks.com. Ahmed, yeah, I mean, talk about what it means to kind of relaunch this book, 10 years later, and what you're looking forward to in terms of talking about it again with an audience.
Well, for me, I think I've always said, had people been reading Palestinian works, listening to Palestinians and connecting with them and really giving us the platform that we deserve, I don't think this genocide would have happened. I don't think Israel would have succeeded in presenting us as like terrorist human animals and all of these things, because people would have connected to us a lot more and understood who we are and saw us as equal humans. Unfortunately, the reason why Israel is able to get away with the genocide is that they spent the last 76 years demonizing us, and the Western media has been part of that completely. As a writer, I have struggled completely to showcase my world, to put my case to the world, and to have my works published by what you call mainstream sort of publishers, which I don't believe they are anyway. And then we got to this point where people actually don't know enough, and now people are learning. It's like, oh shit, Palestinians can cook well. No way, they have delicious food. They actually can write poetry. Oh no, they speak English as well. It's like, oh, for goodness sake, do you know what I mean? So it's very frustrating. So for me, it feels like really empowering to continue to write, and thanks to Just World Books to give me that opportunity to reach out to North America and hopefully beyond, and to be able to say, well, hey, I'm still here, I'm still writing, I'm still producing. Hey, we haven't gone away. This is us. These are our words. Please read our stories and learn more about us through our mouths, not through somebody else who's writing about us. How many productions, BBC Radio 4 productions about Palestine, written by non-Palestinians, you've seen, like so many of them. There is a crime, a Radio 4 crime series on BBC Radio 4 that was done by somebody who'd been to Palestine once and wrote this crime fiction. And of course, guess what? We're all terrorists in there. In the film industry, it's the same thing. Look at our filmmakers and stuff, Farah Nabusi and others, how much they struggle to get their works out there. We need to continue to support Palestinian voices, to hear from them, from the social media posts, from somebody who has 23 followers to the big writers, to everybody, because now is the time to do that. If we don't do that now, more and more will happen. There are people in the West Bank who are crying out and saying to the world about what's happening in the West Bank right now, and nobody is listening. It's almost like, we don't care. So what are we waiting for? How many writers do we have from there? Have people tried to understand a lot more? So that's really what it means to me right now, is that despite everything, it's like I am here and I'm still able to produce. I was in Marseille last week, and I met somebody. I was doing a writing workshop and a writing retreat kind of thing, and I met somebody and we had a good conversation. And then she asked me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Palestine." And she looked at me with all honesty and she said, "Oh, congratulations, you've survived." And it hit me like a slap on the face. I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, is it our destiny to be killed? Is this what you think? And she's like, no. Like, it's good that you've survived. And for me, it was just like, she looked like she was okay with it. It's that our destiny is to be killed. That's it. We're destined for extermination, and that's how people see us. And suddenly it hit me, just like, this is how you see us, that we are there to be killed and destroyed completely. And I said to her, yes, I am still here and I survived. 𝐓𝐿, I don't know if you know the word 𝐓𝐿 in Palestinian Arabic, which is, I love this word so much. 𝐓𝐿 is the best word in the world, which means like, whether you like it or not, like fuck you, whether you like, I'm still here, I'm still surviving, So a lot of what happened with the prisoner exchange, for example, a lot of the prisoners, when they came out, they were like, we came out 𝐓𝐿, which is like, whether you like it or not, we're coming out. So our survival is an instinct to us, is based on our insistence on loving life as much as possible, and continuing to write and continuing to produce and continuing to do beautiful things that people relate to. And all what we're asking for is for people to listen and share as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. We're so grateful that you could join us. We should let you go because you have to get to school to pick up your daughter. Just before you go, I want to remind people of your website where they can learn more about your work, not just Vanished, the book that is being relaunched again this week, but also your many other writings and plays, and that's at ahmedmasoud.co.uk. And then people who want to join the launch event for Vanished, the link is there, bit.ly/vanished-launch. But note that is case sensitive. So if you are listening, it's bit.ly/vanished-launch, and you have to put a capital V on vanished, or the link won't work. So just so people know, and there'll be more information at Just World Books. And there will be a few special guests at that launch, including myself. I'm very honored to join that event, Ahmed, and to celebrate the relaunch of this book. And we hope you'll come back and talk to us again soon. And I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you in a
And I
few.
want to also just say I've got a play coming up on the 26th of May to the 1st of June at Theatre Technis in London as part of 𝐓𝐿𝐴, and it's going to be about Gaza winning the rights to host the Olympics in 2048. So
And where can people find out more about that? Is that on your website, or where
it
can they
will be
learn?
soon once the link is up, but it's on the 𝐓𝐿𝐴 Festival in London. But yeah, don't miss it. Gaza is going to win the rights to host the Olympics, and we're going to organize great Olympics.
In 2048.
That's
All
right.
right.
Love it.
You heard it first here. Thank you so much, Ahmed, and
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you,
Thank you,
Ahmed.
everybody. Good to see
Thank
you.
you.